very biggest thank you goes to all of you. You're the true shining stars of WIDA, because without you, we would never shine. So thank you again for scheduling us, promoting us, tweeting us, posting, engaging your viewers and your members and your communities with everything we do. We would not shine if it wasn't for you.
Golden Grid Award. When we crunch all the data and put together the information to look and see who's up and down in the system, when we're looking for the Programmer of the Year, we also take a look and see who's been doing some really creative scheduling and has got some good things going on. So we have a Golden Grid this year. For making scheduling decisions based on local market preferences, for choosing acquisitions, strategic repeats, and program pairings that have boosted Mondays and Fridays significantly, for continuing to grow the locally programmed digital channel in all measures, and for being up 14% in primetime GURPS and up 10% in the primetime CUNE for this past year, we'd like to give a Golden Grid Award to Nancy Southgate. Charles and Pagano Programmer of the Year Award. So, for keeping public media viewers at the center of all scheduling strategies and ensuring that they find consistent and enticing content across multiple channels, for volunteering to serve on the PTPA Meeting Planning Committee in spite of the substantial time commitment involved. I didn't really say that. For being a steadfast member of the programming community who has not shied away from learning to use new tools and sharing information and ideas with colleagues, for carefully husbanding the acquisition budget and experimenting with new titles to ensure they reach the most viewers, for working within the station to open dialogue with the development department in order to enhance pledge scheduling and help ensure that core viewers have a seat at that table, for studying the ratings diligently and making constant adjustments so that Connecticut Public Broadcasting's primetime GURPS are up 20% this year and the CUME is up 10%, while whole week GURPS have increased 27% and the CUME is up 23%. We would like to give the Programmer of the Year to Joanne Whitehead from Connecticut Public.
We do have one other honor that we would like to bestow, so I'd like to invite Ron Santora up here to help us out with that.
And when you talk about a Lifetime Achievement Award, you have to kind of go back and look and see what those achievements were. That individual turned around and fixed it. He fixed it all. He knew what was going on, he understood it, he made it work, and he was an absolutely fantastic person to have on staff, and making sure that that programming department ran very, very well. A little while later, after I got looking at him and his capabilities, some of us here, Gary Denny, for example, and I go back to the time of the Traffic Advisory Committee. We were both on that. I was a chair at one time, and they were looking for new people to be on that committee. I said, hey, this is the individual that needs to be there representing KQED, needs to bring that kind of background to play. And so he was nominated, he got elected to it, and did a fantastic job with it. Well, we all know him now as one of the great programmers in the system. He's done a magnificent job. He's taken on some amazing responsibilities with the marriage of a couple of stations. He's gotten great numbers. He's been a leader in the community. I just wanted to give you that background on him so you have that kind of understanding. So it's with a great deal of pleasure that we want to give a Lifetime Achievement Award to Scott Dwyer.
Thank you very much. You know I'm a quiet person, but so this is a lot for me to be up here and tell you. But as you know, I'm also a very passionate person. So fortunately, passion overrules my shyness, and so hopefully that will work tonight. But everybody in this room has invested their lives in public television. I am honored to be part of a group of people who think that TV programming is important and that it can make a difference in people's lives. I put my heart and soul into this. I've had a blast. And to think that I've been able to get paid to do something that I would have done for free. I know Michael's here, but it doesn't matter anymore. So now you're asking yourself, well, Scott, why in the hell are you retiring now? And the easiest way for me to answer this question is to give you 3 dates. October 17th of '89, April 28th of 2009, and July 24th of 2014. The first date happens to be the biggest date, October 17th, 1989. That was the day of the San Francisco earthquake. I just happened to be working late that day. I was not on the freeway that collapsed and killed 42 people. I should have been 43. My next door neighbor, and a very close friend of mine, was one of the 42. That day changed my wife and my life forever. That is when my wife and I realized that we don't get to decide when our time is up. That forced us to prioritize our life and start planning our life instead of letting it just happen to us. Now jump 20 years into the future, and that's April 28th, 2009. My wife was working down in Salinas, 2 hours south of us at that time. She was a nurse in the hospital, and she had a code red at the hospital that night, which meant that everyone needed to rush to the emergency room and drop whatever they were doing to get there. And so she knew that it was something bad. She was told that there was a bus full of French tourists, that the bus had overturned. They knew that 5 people were already dead, and that the other survivors were in very bad shape. My wife didn't think that that woman was going to survive that night. The woman and her husband were newlyweds, and this was their honeymoon trip to California. Who was hoping to retire in a couple years. We were planning on doing a lot of camping and a lot of dancing together. And he's built like an ox, exercises daily, much more than I do. He came down with pneumonia last July, or actually a year ago, December, and it just progressively got worse. And he just could not beat it, and he passed away last July. Now you're saying, Scott, thanks a lot for depressing the hell out of us. But the point I'm trying to make is just the exact opposite. We have a choice when bad things happen. Are we going to stand up to it, or are we going to run from it? Our time on earth is finite. Whatever you do, putting in less than maximum effort is only cheating yourself. We don't get to choose our exit date. These events reaffirm for us, whatever you do in life, do it with passion, a sense of humor, and give it your all. As I've said, this has been a dream job for me. I leave having no regrets. My bucket list is very long. I've got lots of places to see, lots of new people to meet, and wild animals and adventures yet to experience. I have to retire just in order to get started on this bucket list. I'm proud and honored to have been part of this programming community, and I thank you for this award, and I love you all. Thank you very much.